Time to talk about Uber and Lyft here on one of my podcasting because I get to do it all the time. Now, I haven't done Lyft in a while, but I have updated my stuff in case I need to go and get back on. And I haven't done it lately because Uber has been doing so good for me, as a matter of fact. But let me go ahead and talk real quick about what's going on here when it comes to Uber and Lyft. As some of you might have noticed, I'm sure it's apparent that many times now, if you're calling for an Uber or a Lyft, it's taking longer for the rides to get to you because there are less drivers. And because of the issues with trying to get the riders around and the drivers around or other things that are going on, there have been surge prices. The prices have gone up a bit, and that's also been an issue. So there's a lot of things that are going on right now to try to go ahead and resolve that. And The Verge is reporting on this story. They have a story that says Uber and Lyft have a driver shortage problem, and it's costing them a lot of money. Uber has already started making the attempt to try to fix things up because they're going to now spend $250 million on a stimulus for drivers. So here's what's going on here. The number of U.S.-based drivers for both apps are down around 40%. Now, again, I understand people don't want to come back and get vaccinated. They want to have people deal with people with masks in the cars and the effect of being sick because they're publicly working with people on a regular basis. And I've been doing Uber back once again since May of last year. So again, I took March and April off. And then basically waited to go and see what was going to happen here. It was half of February and then into March and then April. And it was somewhere right before Memorial Day I decided to go back on the road. And all I did Uber Eats at the time. And when I did that, I was killing it because for Uber, for what was it, May, June, July? Oh, I was going out there and I was just destroying because so many people were buying food. It was so crazy. I was staying right near my house, and I'm telling you, I must have gotten about 20 orders a day from what the kind of stuff I was doing for like 6-7 hours. And people were just spending money. And also they had stimulus checks. Same thing kind of happens right now. So what normally happens for me is that I will get, during lunch or dinner hours, I will get some deliveries. But then for the most part, I'll get passengers after that. Sometimes I get an Uber Connect, or I'm taking a package or something like that. Or, or alcohol, very rarely, but once in a while. That's what happens now. So here's what's going on. In 2020, this is Uber's vice president for mobility in the U.S. and Canada. He wrote in a blog post this, quote, in 2020, many drivers stopped driving because they couldn't count on getting enough trips to make it worth their time, which is also a point that was true. But again, if you're looking for passengers, it was a different story because the airports were locked up. You didn't have people traveling. So that kind of stuff was going on. But again, that's why you had to go ahead and count a program. That's why I went with Uber Eats. Because even if I was going to get that many, but what happens is that once I got to around the summertime, late summertime, I said, well, the Uber Eats is stopping. I'm going to start trying to go and see if I do a partition and see if I need to use that. And the thing was, I tried to partition for a little bit. I'd use like a shower curtain to cover the car, to block the front and the back. Because I didn't want to put one of those, big partitions that block the air conditioning because that wasn't going to work. I don't have air conditioning in the back of my car like that. It has to come from the front. So I absolutely need to go and have air coming across because in Florida, forget about it. Nobody's going to go and drive my car in that like that. And then I got with some passengers and I started talking to them. I was like, you know what? Hey, so how's it been, riding in the car? And most of the drivers kept telling me, you know what? They're not using partitions. They don't care. They're just, everybody's wearing masks. They're just kind of doing what they got to do. And I was like, you know what? We'll do the same thing. Because again, I got Clorox disinfecting wipes in the car. I have Lysol always in front of me. And basically after every passenger that gets in the car, I will spray down with Lysol. And then basically I get the car clean really well. Like I do get it washed every couple of weeks. And then I do maintenance on a regular basis, vacuuming it down, checking the tire pressure, all that kind of stuff. And always getting everything all cleaned up and, wiped down so everything looks good. And now I have a sign in my car that says I have received the COVID-19 vaccine. So I have that out there for people to go and look at. So perfect, right? I do that for them out of the goodness of my heart. So I do that. I show them that. It's great. Now, with that said, here's back to the story. In 2021, there are more riders requesting trips than there are drivers available to give them, making a great time to be a driver, end quote. Now, here's what's going on now. With that said, in Florida, where I'm at, the driving has been good because Florida has become a hotspot again for traveling. for tourism. The tourism has worked well because, of course, the climate's always good here. The weather's good. We're opened up. We've been opened up since May. And then what happened is that people that would normally have gone to other countries or would have gone to the Caribbean or gone on cruises or anything like that, they wanted to go somewhere tropical for vacation. So I was like, you know what? We've always kind of looked over Florida for the longest time. We should go back to Florida again. It's pretty good over there. And we had a lot of tourism. We had all the hotels filled. I'll tell you, all through January, February, we were loaded. The hotels were packed. The beaches were packed. Everything was packed. And there was still people, masking and social distancing to a point. Not all the clubs and not, the restaurants that were doing more or less. But again, that's what happened. And, we went along with it. Everybody not wearing a mask in the car. Everybody did. Everybody was complying. And everything was fine. So I did okay with that. And then the airports, we started getting flights again. A lot of flights, too. And then when there's those times when the airport's starting to get backed up because all these flights start coming in from PBIA, into PBIA, and they're sitting all backed up because there was all these flights that came from the Northeast after weather was hindering all of them. They all come at the same time. And so then all these people are trying to get to their destinations. And then the airport's just a jackpot. And that's what's happened. And then on top of that, the drivers have been getting extra bonuses. Like this Easter weekend that just came past, as I'm recording this, you could get between $100 and $600 bonus for the amount of trips that you've made. That's amazing. Normally, we don't even get like that. We might get, say, $30 for 20 trips or 30 trips, and then up to about maybe $150 for about 100 trips in a week, which you can do. But again, that's pretty good. That's, it's kind of a loyalty thing. I like that. So the drivers do get motivated for that. I think I do. And again, I'm not worried about trying to be like the bigger cars. I have an economic car. I got a 4-seater, but mine's on the Uber XL. Yeah, the LX. Or something, the XL or Uber X. That's where I'm under. And so I get just the little zip cars. My cars just kind of like bounce around, get around the city really easily, and they work. And my car is very comfortable, and it's got a lot of space and all this kind of good stuff. So I can do okay making money on the car, and I can make, average $20 to $30 an hour right now. But if you have a bigger car, if you got an SUV, you got a more of a mid-size car or a full-size car, then you know what? You're going to make probably more like $30, $40 an hour. That's pretty good money. It won't stay like that, but that's pretty good money. Normally, if I get $12 to $15 an hour, that's about average. If I get $15 an hour, that's pretty good. 20, that's really good on a normal time. But I know right now I'm making extra than I ever have. And of course, remember, if you are Uber or driving for Lyft, the best night to be out or the best time to make money in a one night is New Year's Eve. That is the Super Bowl of Uber and Lyft driving. I'm telling you, that's where you make big bucks. This past year, I made $400 in my little car in 8 hours. $50 an hour. Just like that. Actually, I made like $420. Ridiculous money. Ridiculous. Not bad. Not bad for just doing it just for a day. So that's the kind of stuff we're going through. And that wasn't even that many people going out for New Year's Eve in terms of watching fireworks or going out to celebrate in the street. This is just people going to restaurants and back, for the most part. Or celebrating at home. Or celebrating at other people's houses, house parties, things like that. That was what was happening more than going to the clubs. Because the clubs were still closed by then. Now they're not. Lyft, meanwhile, is covering the cost of rental cars, offering $800 bonuses to drivers to return to the app. That's crazy. And doling out extra cash to drivers when a trip lasts longer than 9 minutes. That's according to the Financial Times. These incentives are helping to persuade drivers who were logged off after being discouraged by the lack of riders to eventually come back. And then COVID-19 continues to be a huge drag on Lyft and Uber's respective businesses. But cases spiked over the winter. Both companies lost a significant portion of their customer base. But again, it didn't happen to me. Winter down here was great. According to data from Apptopia, U.S.-based drivers logging into Uber first 3 months of 2021 down 37.5% year over year. Lyft down 42.3%. And remember, if you are getting a ride from Uber or Lyft, always check the pricing, because you never know which one's going to be cheaper or not, and which one might have a driver closer to you or not. So keep that in mind. With wait times increasing in some cities, the companies will now have to reverse course and spend money to encourage drivers to come back to the app. But all this is good. there is a lot of good things that are coming for drivers. So if you want to make some money, you need to find work. If you can go ahead and rent yourself a car and take the advantage of what's going on right now, do it, because the money right now is good. It won't be like this forever. My guess is that somewhere somewhere around July 4th, when we get into the middle of the summer, and people, there's a lot more things to do and more live events. I mean, maybe we'll have a comeback on it, but I think enough drivers will be back out on the road because of all these incentives to kind of build back up, and really is to help Uber and Lyft continue to be better than taxis and better than other transportation. So we'll leave it there, and I'll talk to you next time.